Hey, it's Eben. Right here in this video, I share one of my best techniques to drive traffic to your website. For more advice and tips to help you in business, make sure to click the link you see in this video or go to ebenpagan.com.
I have a confession to make. It's not really a confession so much as to set the record straight. A lot of people call me the father of the landing page. So you've seen landing pages like the one we just saw that Ira had with the headline and the bullets and the opt-in box. A lot of people say that I'm the father of the landing page because I was the first one that had one. Well, the reality is Dean Jackson is actually the first one that had one. And we were working on this business because he's the one that kind of convinced me to start this in the first place. And we were brainstorming some different ideas, and we decided to put up a page that instead of just letting people come into our website, we would say, hey, we've got good stuff inside here. If you'll give us your name and your email address, you can come inside and see what we've got. And instead of having traffic just come to the website, and if they bought, and if they didn't, they didn't, now we were capturing leads. Now we were getting people who weren't maybe quite ready to buy or who wanted to build a relationship and get to know us better. And then what I started doing is creating an email newsletter and following up with those leads that came in. And that one tweak was a dramatic shift in our business. It was truly dramatic. I would say right now that, if we had to go back and chart the growth of our business over time and say, where would it be right now? Our business would probably be, 1/10 or 1/5 or something the size that it is, had we not changed the order in which we captured information. Now, what's interesting and counterintuitive about landing pages, and what happens a lot when people come to work with our business, especially smart business people, is they say, you mean you turn away 80% of the people that come to your website? 80% of the people, they just don't ever even come in? We've got to do something about that. We've got to do something to capture that traffic. And it usually ruminates in their brain for a long time until they see the whole model and they see how it works and they say, oh, by losing the 80%, we actually get 5 times as much out of the 20%. That makes a lot of sense. Which introduces another concept that we're going to be talking about later in this section called moving the free line. And moving the free line is a little idea that I came up with. And it's about giving away a massive quantity of value. In fact, giving away so much value that the prospect says to themselves, well, geez, if this is the stuff they're giving away, how valuable must be the stuff that they're selling? The internet is amazing for moving the free line because you can give away a lot of stuff very inexpensively. You can distribute audio, video, printed materials, software. You can do all kinds of stuff for a very, very low cost. And this is kind of caught on in internet marketing circles. And now a lot of people are using this term, moving the free line. And we'll get to it in just a little bit here. But when I combined the landing page with our free newsletter, which when I started to do it, I tried a few things, goofed around with it a little bit. My ideas didn't work out the way I thought they were going to. I had to actually start doing a little bit of work and writing content, and the more content I wrote, the better it did. The more personality and humor and energy and kind of fire I put into the copy and the newsletter, the better it performed. And at one point I decided, I'm going to create the best newsletter that's ever been written on any topic, the most valuable newsletter ever, and then I'm going to give it away. I want this thing to be as valuable as a newsletter that someone charges $1,000 a year for, and then I'm going to give it away. And I created what I think our business is pretty proud of, is a very, very valuable, entertaining, educational. It's basically an education course that you can get for free just by coming to our website. Thousands of pages of great free information. And it seems to be working. It converts very well, and it's helped us build a big business. So that combination of the landing page, capturing leads up front, and then moving the free line and offering massive value was a huge, one of the biggest shifts and one of the most profitable long-term shifts we ever made. Another thing that happened back right around the time that I was starting few months in, maybe right around the time we were experimenting with the landing page. This was probably right before the landing page, but this was a tremendous breakthrough in thinking especially, a breakthrough in my paradigm, was I tested prices. And in the past, I really hadn't, I'd studied marketing for a lot of years, really hadn't had the opportunity to test different prices against each other in many situations. It's not as easy to do that offline when you have to do printed runs and split testing magazine ads and split testing direct mail. But on the internet, it's a little easier. And so one day I said, I'm going to raise the price of my ebook, my downloadable book, from, it was $29.95, and I decided to raise it to $39.95 and just test a different price. And I remember the day specifically because I drove down to San Diego from Los Angeles to spend the day with my two best friends, Dean Jackson, who I mentioned, who will be here later, smart marketing guy, and my friend Richard, who's here actually kind of overseeing the program in the room. And I went down to see them, and we hung out for the day. And later in that day, I said, I can't remember whose computer it was. I think it was Dean's. I said, hey, can I borrow your computer? I need to get online and check my stats and kind of see what's going on. I haven't seen what the results were of this test. And I remember logging into my account and seeing, I thought something was wrong. I thought something must be broken. There were 10 sales for $39.95. It was my highest number of sales in one day, and the highest volume. So I sold more product at a higher price in one day. Now, this wasn't a scientific split run test where I was A-Bing, and I'm sure there was a little bit of variation there, but all of a sudden I realized, essentially, they're still buying at the same rate or better, even though I raised my price by 33%. And like I said, it changed my paradigm. Now when we launch products, in 80% of the cases or something like that, we do a split run of several prices, different terms, different offers, and we see which one performs better. And wouldn't you know that once in a while, the highest price outperforms the other prices? It's very interesting. Who here tests prices and terms on a religious basis? Raise your hand. Okay, so what do you think, maybe 20% of the audience, that kind of thing? So one of the things that I discovered is that changing that little price thing and having it just show up over and over can make a huge difference. If you increase your price 10% and it works and it performs as well as or better, how much more profitable does your process or your model become? A lot. In most cases, that would double the profitability of an offer, getting 10% more. So test prices and test terms. And then the next thing, and I'm going to share something with you that I've never really shared in public before. This was a great little discovery. A little bit later on, we released our first back-end product, our first higher-end program. It was a $200 CD program, which about 6 months later we released on DVD. It was called our Advanced Dating Techniques program. And after releasing it, I said, okay, we don't have any fancy technology. We can't do all the things that we would love to eventually be able to do. How can we upsell our customers to this thing? So I had Sheila on our team, who was the very first person that came to work with me, who I hired as kind of a part-time virtual assistant. I said to her, hey, Sheila, let's try something. Let's take all the customers that purchased our ebook a couple of weeks ago, and let's send them a personal email, a real personal email that I'll write it, and you'll just send them from my email account. And it will say, hey, I noticed you bought my ebook. I hope you're enjoying it. And I don't remember exactly what it said, but maybe I hope you read chapter 4 where I shared this great technique. And by the way, if you enjoyed my book, you're really going to like my advanced course because it goes into depth in these 3 areas. And you know what I'd like to do is, let me send you one to try out. I won't even charge you. Just try it. Try it for a month. And if you like it, keep it. And if you don't, just send it back. I'll pay the shipping. Don't worry about it. Those emails, and again, I don't have the exact figures right here. I didn't go dig them up. I didn't go dig into the stats. But as I recall, those emails were worth something like $10 a piece in sales. Those cut and paste emails that took 30 seconds a piece or 60 seconds to do. just following up a couple of weeks later with a personal email saying, I hope you enjoyed it. Here's something else. Just try it. If you like it, great. If not, just send it back. Another huge aha. Now later we became more sophisticated, and we'll tell you about that a little bit later in the program, and we built custom technology to do a lot of these things automatically during the purchase process and afterwards. And I recommend that if you are not upselling and cross-selling people and then selling on the back end and going back to your customers and saying, would you like some more stuff? Would you like some more stuff? And if you like that, I've got some more stuff for you. Then you're probably throwing away at least as much profit as you're making. Very big lessons in our business.